Hello and welcome back to Misrepresented. I'm your host, Lisa Opie, and today I'm super excited because I have Elizabeth Tran, who is the founder of Teens Go Green and Miss Nation of States.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, I'm so happy you're here. So before we get into it, I do have to shout out Pink Apple Dresses for dressing us today, and we're just going with this blue vibe. I love this one. I think
Thank you. As soon as I saw it at the showroom, I was like, wow, this is so cute. I feel like Margot Robbie in Wolf of Wall Street, like that very first scene. So, yeah, it just makes me feel fabulous.
Queen.
Thank
okay, so I want to talk about the pageant first because you're like about to go to Malaysia, right?
Mm-hmm. In next month. No, even sooner. Just a few weeks, 3 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
So you have Christmas, New Year's, and then pageant.
Exactly. So I fly out January 4th.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. How's the prep going?
I'm not really prepping, to be honest. I didn't think about it until you just asked me. But for me, international pageants, really, it's just the experience. It's traveling. It's getting to see a new place I've never visited. It's the honor of representing my country. And at this point, it'll be representing Miami and USA as well, because there's other girls also coming in from the USA and from other countries. There are multiple country representatives that will be at this one. Actually, it's my first Asian-based pageant.
No way.
Yes. Okay. This one. So Miss Nation of States, they do send girls to a lot of different international pageants. So I represented the USA at an international pageant in Taiwan through them several years ago, I think like 5 or 6. And then this one is called Asian Model Icon. So it's like a model fashion show pageant, but they need people from Asian countries or Asian descent. So that's why.
Oh my gosh. Do you feel a lot of pressure?
You know, it's weird because, and I know we were talking about bringing up Asian, the Asian beauty standard that I saw when I would go visit my mom when I would go visit my mom's family in Hong Kong is so different from like the Asian American beauty standard, if that makes sense. So there's like ABG, and luckily for me at this point in my life, I'm like this exotic high fashion Asian model, or like at least that's what I try to brand myself out to be. Yeah, like a more I aspire to be someone like Kimora Lee Simmons when I think of the glamour and the look and the beauty. But then in terms of like East Asian, like I don't know how Malaysia would be. Like even when I went to Thailand last month, I was like, I think I look more Thai than Chinese.
Oh my god.
No, everyone thought I was Thai.
Malaysia's probably going to be like on the line of like Korean and like Japanese beauty standards, maybe.
I don't know. And honestly, too, I did stop there at the airport once. There's a lot of Indians that are also there, too.
Okay.
And a lot of different people from other Asian countries. So it'll be interesting to see like what those... And maybe it's not even like one beauty standard, and that's why they're doing it like this.
Yeah, like what is it like? Because we both have Asian backgrounds. We're both raised in the United States, and I swear, like Asian beauty standards, at least like from our countries, are the opposite of American beauty. Like, because I like to be dark.
You're half Japanese, so like the Japanese and Chinese, like East Asian, I think is very similar. Like the light skin, the big eyes, whereas you and I kind of like that fox eye, the snatched look kind of thing. So I don't know, but I know I'll do what I like to do. Exactly. I'll have fun. And most of all, I get to explore Malaysia and also other different countries. I just learned with like certain layovers, if you are like more than 5 hours, you can do like a free 3-hour tour.
What?
Yeah.
Where's your layover?
So I'm going Doha, Qatar.
Okay.
And then Istanbul.
Oh my god.
And Singapore. So I'm going.
Wait, those are like the top 3 countries.
Exactly. So I was like, I just want to go visit. I don't want to pay for a hotel. So let me just do a 3-hour layover, get to see the place. God. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm doing my little travel adventures. Are you gonna like get glammed up and do some reels and pictures and stuff? I should. But I'm since it's gonna be just me, and it'll be like my first like hardcore solo travel trip. I mean, I did study abroad in Rome in college, but it's different. So it's like I can't imagine. Like I feel I'm not comfortable yet. Like having a tripod in Qatar, and then here's me. Actually, when I don't
think they're ready for it.
Yes, when I went to Paris, I brought like an entire evening gown, fully rhinestone, because I really wanted a picture of it in the Eiffel Tower. But I didn't want to wear it walking from my Airbnb to the Eiffel Tower. So I tucked it all in this big coat and I held it down. And I just remember this lady across the street. She looks me up and down. She's like, oh, I can't believe you.
Oh, I'm sure it's Paris.
I looked like ridiculous
every day.
Yeah, no, I really did look absurd because I had that and like my Costco tennis shoes on, like my gown coming out of my coat. So yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Maybe not Doha.
That's true.
Yeah, but Istanbul, whatever. I'm sure they're used to it. In Singapore.
Oh, yeah. Okay, maybe. I'll keep you posted if I do. I'll take pictures of the places for sure, at least while I'm there.
So,
and honestly, airport travel too. I don't look good at the airport,
no,
so I'm like, maybe.
And like doing your makeup on the plane, not that glamorous.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But tell me about your environmental platform. Are you going to be wearing a garbage dress?
No, not this time. You know what? It's really hard to pack garbage outfits for international travel because I need heavy duty scissors and industrial Velcro. And if something breaks, I need to fix it. And especially if I'm by myself, I don't have someone else to help maneuver it. So the last eco gown I wore was made out of like CDs, protein bar wrappers, this hazmat suit that I used.
Wait, was that Miss Florida USA?
Yes.
That was the last one?
That was the last one I wore. And even that, we had to like figure out a way to add an entirely new zipper so that I could reach it from the back and zip it all the way up. And the way the CDs stuck to my leg was using Velcro dots on a party bag and pressing it on to like a power mesh that also had pantyhose, but then even taking it on and off. And, you know, CDs are pointy, like, so if they poke at you and stuff, so it's just a lot of inconvenience. And then I can't steam it and I'm going to have to fit it into a suitcase. Like, I'm a very logistics crazy kind of person. So I'm like, I don't know if I can handle a garbage gown, at least overseas. Maybe one day I would love to do like a trash fashion show at New York or like a big fashion show or something and do like angel wings or something over the top.
Oh my god.
But I don't know if I'm logistically ready for that. I just have to like keep mentally thinking of, oh, how am I going to plan it? What type of mechanics? It's almost like a science project in a way.
It has to be. But a little background for our listeners. Can you tell us about your pirate leg garbage gown?
Oh, sorry. The pirate leg too. That's a whole nother story.
So this is Miss Florida USA.
Yes. This was pre-COVID. Yeah, January 2020.
Wow.
So that year, I think I actually took an extra year off because I really wanted to be in the right headspace. I think growing up as like a little girl, I remember, and back to the whole Asian thing, I saw Rio Mori win Miss Universe from Japan. Oh my gosh,
queen.
And I was like, wow, this is the first time a girl who looks like me is considered pretty. I didn't know that was like even possible. And so I've always been enamored. I've been the girl that like every day over the summer would just look up Wikipedia pages about Miss Universe contestants, Miss USA contestants. I was like, did you know her favorite snack is Oreo? Like I would just know all these stupid, nerdy little facts about them. And anyways, I'm going on a tangent, but I started pageants when I was 8. And then I built a platform on sustainability because on a drive up from Miami to Orlando, I saw what I thought were like hills or mountains, and it was actually it was Mount Trashmore, and I was like, that's actually disgusting. Like that the second highest landmark in South Florida is our landfill. So it was like, okay, what can we do to promote a more minimal waste, sustainable lifestyle? And I would go speak at different Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, do different eco projects, but nothing really sticked until my mom and I were starting to put together trash fashion outfits. And that's when people were really intrigued. They wanted to get involved. They wanted to volunteer, take pictures. So that really catapulted a lot of the service work and opportunities that I've been like super blessed to have, whether it was like the TEDx talk or even like the TLC show, like or even UN, like so many cool things, doors that had opened through trash fashions and kind of with pageantry as well. But at that time, I had to really think like, why did I want to be Miss Florida USA so badly? Like partly, it kind of is my ego. It is telling little girl me that like, yes, I can do it. Yes, I can be beautiful. Yes, I want to be the first Chinese Miss Florida USA. But then, you know, it's also like the goal was to promote sustainability. So if that was my goal all along, it's kind of like Erica's thing, like regardless, you're still going to do the same thing as Miss Connecticut USA. I can still promote sustainability without being a title holder. I can still promote this idea of trash fashion, and maybe in a much bigger way if I wear it as an evening gown on the stage, which turned out actually to work very well in my favor.
It was beautiful.
Because, and honestly, because of the pirate leg thing. So like, unfortunately, or fortunately, who knows, it was like a blessing in disguise, I guess. Like 2 weeks before the pageant started, I went to this fitness boot camp and I fell on like one of those steppers that we were on, and I just twisted my ankle, snapped 2 ligaments, and I could barely, I remember crawling down my hallway. I was in so much pain. I was crying. I was like, I never injured myself before. So I was like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what to do. And so I went to the hospital, or not the hospital, the urgent care, and they were saying, yeah, you know, you can't walk for another 3 weeks. And I was like, the pageant is in a week now, like, or 2 weeks at that point. So I told the director, I was like, you know, I don't think I can do it anymore, unfortunately. And I've been preparing 2 years for this. I have this whole garbage gown. I'm so ready. And she's like, nope, try this pirate leg crutch called the iWalk.
Oh, she recommended it to you.
Because she used it for 8 weeks, I think, because she broke her foot.
Oh my God.
And she still needed to use the treadmill. So she was like, try this iWalk. So, and then I was so excited to try, because at that time I was barely using crutches, but I'm really bad with crutches. It was like, it was hurting my armpits, it was hurting my hands, and I would still prefer to crawl, like, and not actually crawl on my hands. I would like do this butt crawl with like my knee, like my feet, just like scooting myself from the hallway with my work bag. It was horrible. Yeah, so then I got the iWalk. I was so excited to use it, and then, but I think I only had about 4 days until the pageant began. So my mom and sister came down. They helped me alter my garbage.
Wow.
Actually, the good thing about having that dress made of garbage at the time was there was no problem cutting it. And
that's the alteration.
Exactly. Because with like a nice gown, or like the last one I wore there was like a metal mesh gown, or even for Nation of States, I wore a liquid beading. There was no way I could cut that. And if I had that pirate leg thing, it would look like it's dragging off. It just wouldn't look right at all.
Oh my God.
So, but anyways, my whole point in that kind of being a blessing in disguise is that then I got this interview with Inside Edition.
I remember that.
Yeah, so then it got me like TikTok viral, and then it showed.
Is that
the
how
garbage
TLC
gown.
found you?
Yep. Exactly.
Wow. So that led to the reality show.
Domino effect wise. So Inside Edition led to viral TikTok.
Okay.
Another TikTok came in showing, and I shared how I made the garbage gown. A girl saw it who also, her name is Elizabeth. She's also into sustainability, like total doppelganger, alternate universe Elizabeth, right? And so she was actually working with a casting director for TLC.
Wow.
They were looking for cheap families, and they were like, nothing better than a pageant girl who's cheap. Like 2 TLC things combined, toddlers and tiaras and extreme cheapskates. Yeah. So yeah, that's what happened.
What was it like going viral? Like, when did you realize?
Okay, I wasn't like TikTok viral. Okay, I wasn't like.
Have you ever been viral?
My viral was like 600K views. So
that's good. That's viral.
Cool, but it reached the right people.
Yeah.
So that's what
it got you where you needed to go.
Exactly. So, and that was during like peak pandemic time, where that's where everybody's eyes were on. So and because we were in quarantine, I was with my family in Orlando, and we could do the casting process, which took months.
So who's like, you were the one that kind of dragged your family into the TLC show?
Yes.
So they found you, and they were like, we want you.
I take full credit for the reason why my family is, as they say, international, and I quote, reality TV stars.
Oh, really?
They're not. Technically they are, whatever. We just say it as a joke, but we don't mean it, okay?
Yeah, no, but it's so cute.
Because afterwards they like they then aired it in like Turkey, South Africa, Russia, and they changed the language and all the transcript, like everything. And we're like, oh my God, this is crazy.
But it was like really good. Like I remember watching it, and I'm like, this is actually like good stuff.
I love that in the end of the episodes, or like our last part, season, series, finale, whatever, like my sister got to do a trash fashion photo shoot, and it was at this junkyard. So it's like, okay, my whole goal in doing it was not to be like, yeah, let's be stingy. I mean, yeah, you can do that too and be sustainable, but the message of promoting sustainability and trash fashions and what I came there for in the first place. So I'm really glad that we were able to work with the production team and build that. And then I met my seamstress, who helped me make the CD gown with the hazmat suit. And that hazmat suit was the same suit I used dumpster diving on TLC. So fun fact.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I tried to make it full circle. So
that's like super full circle. So tell me about Teens Go Green. I love everything that you're doing.
Yeah. So I guess after that TLC thing, you know, honestly, I think after that year at Miss Florida USA, I was just so tired. Like, I was like, and I only had 10 seconds to show off my dress. So I was like, I need another opportunity for this dress to be out there. What can I do? And then lo and behold, another pageant that I did. So it's not just the Florida USA system. Any pageant system, I feel like, opens so many doors. I was Miss Corporate America Teen years and years ago, and they knew somebody who was in the TEDx Eustis chapter. So they asked me to apply as a speaker.
Wow.
And I think that to me was like, oh my gosh, I never, ever could have seen myself do something like that.
Yeah.
You know? And
I mean, when you do a TED Talk, like, you've made it.
I wouldn't say I'm still getting it.
I mean,
but
you're like an expert in your field.
Yeah, it was like, that was such a dream come true. And I think, honestly, I've never felt like an expert at one thing. I've just always been kind of dabbling and interested in many things. Like, in sustainability, when I would go to environmental events or different projects, I never felt like I was intelligent enough to kind of have these serious discussions on certain sustainability issues. And then when it came to the trash fashion, you know, I'm not a fashion designer. I don't sew or, you know, put those pieces together, but combined, and I think the mission behind it and the creativity, I was like, wow, TEDx really did have a place for me to share this idea. And that's their whole message, is like, ideas worth spreading. It can be any idea. So it was such an honor, because it was a 10-minute talk. So I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can talk 10 whole minutes.
Were you nervous?
Yes, I was. But it's cool because I got to share kind of like my pageant journey, my sustainability journey, how I combined it, and then kind of my principles for sustainability, which is, you always have to follow a hierarchy of it. So people always say, like, reduce, reuse, recycle, but it's actually like, you first need to reduce as like the most sustainable component, then you reuse, and then you'll recycle afterwards. Because in a way, following that concept is going to help you, like, it is the most waste reducing process if you follow in that hierarchy. So yeah, that's kind of like my whole mantra with Teens Go Green, or like, that's the, I guess, conversion or call to action when someone's like, how do I get involved? What do I do?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, and then most recently, the other like dream come true, I've had this on my vision board for like 7 or 8 years, was working at the UN and doing something with the Sustainable Development Goals. So like,
tell me about that.
I mean, like, being there, seeing it, we got to be at the headquarters, like the General Assembly, where they do all their serious meetings and things. And I was like,
did you meet any like really cool national leaders?
So they were all speakers. Natalie Portman was the closing speaker too. That was pretty cool. I had no idea. I was like, wow, that's a nice little way to end this. Yeah. And everyone, even in line, just getting our ticket, it was like someone from Lesotho, someone from Korea, someone from Hong Kong. Like, nobody there was actually from the US in my line. So it was so international. And what I was saying, the difference between international pageants is like, we're all kind of like pretty privileged girls, but we are all from different countries. So you have that experience. Whereas at the UN, not everybody there is a pretty privileged girl with a certain
probably like not 1%.
You know what I mean? So it's, you get to see such a large pool of people. And I think another big takeaway was seeing how active and like open the Gen Z was to talk about certain issues that they stood for, whether it was poverty, sustainability, gender equality. And I was like, wait a minute, you know, as someone like you and I, we are active consumers, that we can be conscious consumers, and we can use our money and our votes to make a difference in our society. But for Gen Z, they don't really have that much money at this point, because they're still dependents and they're still too young to vote. Yeah. So that's why they are super vocal. That's why they are super active on TikTok. Maybe that, I mean, that's my conspiracy theory, but like, I see
that
now,
explains a lot.
That's the only power that they have at this point, you know? So I'm like, wow, I feel very fortunate at this point in my life, because I started Teens Go Green when I was 12. So I was that vocal person. I was like, oh, let's use action. Let's, you know, make a difference by spreading the message, because that's all I could do. I could spread the message. But now that I've gotten older, so in context, like, I'm 29 now, so oh my God, it's been 17 years. And like, that's actually crazy for me to say out loud. Like, it's older than when I started it, you know? But now I am more of a conscious consumer. Now I am like, okay, let me go purchase certain items at reusable grocery stores where I can bring my own containers, so I can cut out my excess packaging. Now I can vote for leaders or vote for certain like causes or issues or different changes in rules in our local government to say, oh no, I don't actually want this to happen because it's going to impact our government, or it's going to impact our waste incinerators and different things, and talk to the local government officials. So yeah,
I love that. And I feel like everything, like those steps are so much more effective than protesting, you know? So like get involved from the inside out and really make a difference.
Your action
involved.
always speaks louder than your words. And I think I used to be kind of bitter about that with Gen Z, because I was like, okay, you're just talk, but if you don't do anything about it, or if you don't find the opportunities to do it. But then I gave me more empathy after going to the UN to see, oh no, like you actually do care.
Yeah.
But there is so little that you are capable of doing, so because you don't have the money or the voting power. I mean, so that's why now I'm like, okay, with Teens Go Green, what is the action? Is it spreading the message? Is it the sustainability? Is it promoting, you know? And because it's Teens Go Green, I can't necessarily tell them, hey, go shop at a reusable store. Yeah, because I mean, it's their parents, you know? So it's also trying to encourage the whole family to do that.
Wow. Yeah. So we talked a little bit about this when we were planning the episode, but so a lot of Gen Z is very like environmentally conscious, and they're always like talking about green anything, right? Yes, but then there's like this whole other side of TikTok where everybody wants to be a content creator. Yes. So they're buying all these products on TikTok Shop. Oh my God. And someone it's just like junk.
TikTok Shop is QVC.
Okay, yeah,
it's Home Shopping Network now. And I'm like, I can't keep watching.
But it's not sustainable. Like, I'm looking at this stuff and I'm like, this is junk for $2. It's not good for the environment. And people just want to push it because they want to be content creators. Yes. So it's like a really bad cycle, and I don't know what we can do to end it.
Well, there's a lot, or not a lot, but there's a small group of really good sustainability influencers too. So their things are more about thrifting. What can you find at a vintage store? What can you find in a platform like Depop, or what's that other one? The
Poshmark?
Yes, Poshmark.
Queenly.
Like exactly, Queenly, or different platforms that we can alternate, you know, because I feel like there's content creators that, I mean, I follow content creators that show me cool Excel tricks, you know what I mean? Like it's not always, you know, products or material goods. A lot of them could be more service-based or more on the sustainability side. But that also is kind of like my whole thing of, yes, your actions do need to speak louder than your words. So like, what are you physically doing to make an impact? And with those actions, at least at this point in my life, I do think that focusing more on local groups. So this Sunday I went to a group called the Mao Foundation in Cutler Bay, and they distributed 500 toys to kids for Toys for Tots.
Wow.
But what I loved about it, because there's a lot of nonprofits out there, but I get to physically see where my donations are going. I get to see.
Exactly. And I feel like that's really important.
So doing your due diligence, doing your research, making sure you know, because only like a very small percentage, like about 10% or less of your clothes donated to a platform like Goodwill actually gets resold, and then the rest of it
to landfill.
Exactly. Landfill, or it gets sent all the way, like halfway around the world
Africa.
To another. Yeah, to Africa.
I've seen all those documentaries. I'm like, this is so scary.
Exactly. And so, you know, at the end of the day, I'm super now passionate about focusing in on local groups, helping your local community, because that was also another thing at the UN that they were talking about, is to think globally but act locally, because that's where your real impact is going to be. But you can collectively come together with your global group, see what the takeaways are, and then go back to your home, and this is where you serve, this is where you make your impact.
Wow, I love that.
Thanks.
Okay, so we talked about pageants, we talked about Teens Go Green, the TLC show, the TED Talk, the UN, but there's more, right? Oh, so you're an IT analyst and you own a business.
Yes.
Tell me about your business. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, so I have Digit-Eli. That's what I call it.
So cute.
But it's my web design. So I did my master's in web design, and I really needed to utilize it more. Now I'm in IT, but before I had more of a marketing background in my corporate 9-to-5 job. So I love the entrepreneurial spirit. Like, I love seeing what you're doing, for instance. And so I was like, what can I do? And so for me right now, I focus on building websites for entrepreneurs that are just starting or figuring out how to scale, or giving themselves a digital platform to put all their information, like a digital brochure. So it's exciting. It's like that startup culture. It's, you know, and I think for me, I like that challenge of learning new technical skills, getting involved in that type of space. So
because that space is constantly evolving, right?
Exactly.
Like it's always changing. You have to keep up with it. So we always have like fun like startup stories, right? Any crazy things that happened to you when you're starting your business, or advice for people that are starting a business?
I would say not any crazy stories. I will say always challenge yourself to things that, like, if it scares you, that's good. Like, do it. Like, do it super scared. So I did last year a hackathon, and it was a mix of, in my corporate job, I wanted to transition into a more tech-based role. And then also in my Digit-Eli side business, or job hobby, if you will, I'm trying to figure out what more can I do? How can I expand my services? So in that hackathon, it was like 48 hours. I'm in a group with a bunch of tech nerds, like trying to build an app within that time period with like artificial intelligence and different platforms. So I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, who
did
am
you succeed?
Probably not, but we did it. We finished it, you know, and that's kind of where it is at the end. It's like the fact that I could do it and complete it and say, like, I get to do this, I'm so proud of. And even like, it kind of goes back to I actually compared it to the first time I competed in a pageant when I was 8. I was like, I had no idea what I was doing, super clueless, probably last place in both the hackathon and my pageant, by the way.
Really?
But it was like, wow, I didn't know that I could do this. And like, wow, I didn't know I could actually look pretty. Or wow, I didn't know I could be on stage or talk to an audience. So it's those like things that would have terrified me. Even competing at Miss Florida USA, I was so intimidated. I'm like, okay, do it because it scares me. Because it's gonna challenge me to be a bigger and better person in the long term. And again, it is for that little girl me who was too scared to do it. I actually remember, so like back in the day, Robin, the former Florida USA director, had this dress store, La Casa Hermosa, and I would go there for some of the other pageants I did, and she asked me about it, and I was like, no, I could never do it. They never had a Chinese girl in the top 5. Aww. They'll never pick someone like me, you know, and I genuinely had that mindset.
Wow.
You know? So it was so hard. And I think actually 2 years ago, when I competed and I didn't make the top 5, and I was like, no more trash fashion. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to do everything in my power. I flew to New York to see Luciera. I did my walk like 3 or 4 hours a day. Like, just, I would wear 5-inch heels to work.
Oh my God.
And I have, again, a corporate office, IT job, just so when I walked to the bathroom and the office, I was like, posture.
Oh my God.
Walk.
Like every chance you get, just walk in heels.
Yes, every chance I got was walking in my heels, making sure my posture was on point, doing everything I could in my power. And I had such an identity crisis because I was like, this was 20 years of my life going down the drain. You know, at that time, they didn't have the no more age limit.
Okay, so you're going to go back?
Maybe. We'll see. I'm so happy right now with the title I have, Nation of States. So basically, as an adult, I guess I'm an adult. I don't know. Like,
we don't identify as adult, but apparently we are.
Who gave that idea? Yeah. But yes, in my miss years, not adult years, my miss teen, not teen. But anyways, so I would transition. I would go back and forth between Florida USA and the Nation of States system, because even though I didn't win, but the charity work I did with Teens Go Green, my mom and I had a charity modeling event we did called Model for Miracles. We raised about $130,000 for Children's Miracle Network. And so the director was like, you know what? You really do stand for like what pageants are about. We want you to represent the USA in this international pageant. My best friend, who was my roommate there, ended up being Miss Universe Sweden. That's where I met Ramina. Like, that was like such, I was like, I don't belong here. Like, how did I deserve this opportunity?
Oh my God.
We stayed in these like model villas that it was 4 girls living in one villa, and that villa had 4 floors. And our lobby had Chanel pillows.
Wait, do they have an age limit, or can I sign up right now?
That pageant's gone, unfortunately.
I want to do that.
I would do it again if I could. But that was a one and done system. But again, that like opened my eyes to saying like, you really can do anything you set your mind to, and so much more. Like, and more than you ever even thought possible. Yeah. TEDx wasn't on my vision board, but New York Fashion Week and UN was. And I got to do that within like a span of 10 days, and I got to do it now. But it took me 7 years of, you know, constantly losing pageants or constantly trying to figure out, okay, what's next for me? Who am I as I change and develop into different chapters of my life? Like, what is next? What am I going to do? So I'm just really glad that now I can continue to pursue that and see like wherever else life takes me.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I look up to you so much because
thank you.
Being Asian, like you really don't see any representation, at pageants, especially in the United States. Like I competed at Miss Virginia, United States, like 8 times, like so many times. And I would never win.
I didn't know you competed 8 times.
Not like 8 times. I'm being dramatic.
Oh, okay.
But like enough times to where like
competed 8 times.
Enough times to where the director was like, you're too ethnic for Virginia. So take a different title. So I took American Samoa and I went to Miss United States representing an island and I made top 5. And I beat Virginia.
But it almost like,
so it's like, yeah,
proving it's that narrative or rhetoric.
Exactly. So it was just a weird feeling. Like I'm happy with my placement, but it's like I really want to see Asian Americans represented like a little bit more.
Yes, and that international pageant where I got to actually represent the USA. Mind you,
that's incredible.
It was hosted in Taiwan, so everyone was super confused because they were like, why is this Asian girl representing the USA and she doesn't speak Mandarin, even though I do speak Cantonese, and I did speak Spanish with some of the girls because we were all in like the Western Hemisphere bus. So my like busmate was Miss Venezuela and she only spoke Spanish. So like, I'm having conversations with her. I was like, wow, my high school Spanish really did come through. Like I'm actually able to talk about life and things.
I love that. And I love that like it brings everybody together.
And it opens people's idea of what the USA is.
Yep.
There's like a certain perception still. And I mean, I'm sure for us growing up, like, okay, this is something I've always wanted to tell you. So random side note, but I as a kid was so desperate to see an Asian girl in magazines. I swore the Hiltons were half Asian.
Oh my God.
So there's this cover of Paris and Nikki Hilton in 17 magazine. And I used to read it like front and back. And I thought, Paris has small eyes. Nikki Hilton has black hair. They're obviously Asian. And London Tipton is based on Paris Hilton. So therefore, there's representation. Finally, thank God it's here.
Okay, at least Zach and Cody had Brenda song. That was
so
great.
It was, I think that 17 magazine was maybe a few years before Zach and Cody. But I was like, it's here. We have it, guys. We did it.
Yeah, it was hard being Asian back in the day.
Because it was all you could see were girls who didn't look like us, and fox eyes weren't cool at the time.
No, people would literally pull their eyes like this at me and say "ching chong ling long."
Exactly.
Like, I hated my eyes so much. That's how I learned how to do makeup, is because I wanted my eyes to look bigger. So I figured out like how to make my eyes look bigger so I could be more white, so I wouldn't be bullied. And now here I am, a professional makeup artist.
Exactly. Like everything happens for a reason. And honestly, now it's kind of come to my advantage as a model in Miami. One, because there's not really a lot of
I think you're the only one, so you get booked a lot.
But too, like I remember I did one for a lash perm and I was like, oh my gosh, like someone actually likes my natural lashes for the way they are because someone needs to see that.
Yep.
And I actually got paid to look how I look. And so it just, now I'm so happy that we are being slowly but surely changing the idea of beauty and changing the beauty standards. And to a certain degree now, I almost feel like Asians have this sort of like extra pretty privilege just for being Asian. And I don't know if I should. I mean, like, honestly, I feel like I have this extra privilege that I shouldn't take for granted and make sure that, regardless of it, I can still use my opportunities in modeling and pageants and things to still be a role model, still be a good person. And I think that's another, again, I'm kind of rambling over here.
I love it. It's just so good.
But like with pageants, I'm so grateful for it because it sort of pressured me and inspired me to be a role model for a young girl. Like when I was 14, it was the first time a mom and her daughter approached me and it was like, thank you for being a role model to my daughter. Aww. And I bawled. I was like, oh my God, I didn't know I could be that.
You're like the Rio Mori for them.
Like I didn't know that was even a thing because I wasn't, anything famous or cool or on TLC or TEDx or anything at that time, and I remember I would go through like teen magazines and I would see like, where are all the role models nowadays? Like, you know, and like celebrity scandals, whatever. And so it's like, wow, I can actually do that. Like, I can actually be that. I can actually make certain decisions in my life and make sure I avoid certain negative peer pressures and things through pageants. And it's kind of socially acceptable that I can do that. That's amazing. And then not only did it help me kind of follow this path of like almost goody two shoes ethics, but that's now who I am. That's just part of my ethos, and it's something that I am very proud of, and I do like take very seriously, and I see that as like a purpose in my life too, you know?
It is. I mean, you inspire me like a lot, and I'm so happy I have you to like relate to.
No, and I mean, honestly, you inspire me too. Like I said, you know, I remember just 3 years ago, you know, it was like, it was just eyelashes, and now it's lashes, it's snatched, it's eyeshadow, it's makeup, it's all these different products. It's your makeup artist brand, and now you're traveling the world to teach people, and my family, like even me, all the pictures I have, my mom has, my sister has, that you did our makeup. I'm like, we are so beautiful. Like, and I don't usually, you know, it's hard to say that about yourself, because growing up as one of the few Asians in your, you know, very Americanized community, you don't feel pretty. But then you made me feel pretty even with the features that I have.
You're gonna make me cry.
No, but it's true. It's true. And it's not just me, it's even my mom seeing that in herself. And she's been so selflessly like raising 4 kids, and you know, my sister like getting into her teenage years and seeing, but she can be pretty, but she's still young and fun, and you know, like you can still be beautiful inside and out. So
oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So we're like way over time.
Sorry.
But that's okay. This was good stuff. So now I'm going to do a fun this or that. It's my favorite part of the show. Okay. So the first one, because it's coming up, Christmas or New Year's?
Christmas. Yay. I love Christmas. We have not a life size, but like a 2.5 foot Grinch poster that we dangle on our tree.
Oh my God.
Decorating the Christmas tree is my favorite family tradition. Yes.
Pageant stage or modeling runway?
Oh, I know you asked somebody else this on your podcast too, but I honestly think the pageant stage.
Really?
I know. Because I
think you're the first one to say that.
And I do love modeling on runways. I love my runway walk. But the thing is, there's just not enough time. So with pageants, I can like milk the stage,
take all the time.
I can pose, I can do 10 different poses, I can stay there as long as I want, I can like turn my garbage outfit into like, you know, something else. For the CD one, I just like showed the hazmat suit area, and then I flipped over and I was like, CD leg, you know, like it's more of a performance with pageantry.
But you wouldn't do that modeling?
Well,
I guess the designer would be like
now if the designer kind of did the more theatrical things, absolutely. If I could have like a big fan, and that's why I want to do that with my trash fashions. If I could like figure out, I once did something with pinwheels and soda cans, so that if you walked on the runway, the pinwheels would spin around. The problem is I use soda cans, so I almost poked someone's eye out. So
oh my God.
Next time I'm going to use paper. But I love those types of like so dramatic cool, and like I want someone singing and like serenading, like a Victoria's Secret fashion show. If it was an over the top Victoria's
Can I walk in it?
Duh.
That sounds amazing.
No questions. I just need to find like the production, the stage. The problem with Miami, I don't have that network where I can find the space, the music, the things. Whereas I grew up in Orlando, I had my nonprofit there. Like I'm pretty well versed there, and my mom is on the board of Orlando Fashion.
Yeah, and so she has like, an event space, right? Or...
She's in the process of building. Okay. It's still under construction.
Okay.
Yes.
Next one, interview or onstage question?
Interview. Onstage question makes me nervous.
I know. Same.
Yes.
I can't do it. Beach or mountains?
Beach. Mountains, the pressure's too much for my nose.
Literally, I was in Colorado yesterday. My nose is still bleeding.
Oh, yeah.
Coffee or tea?
Oh, I like the smell of coffee, but I like the taste of tea.
Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes I like mix it, like the boba thing. You know how it's like a milk tea or like a coffee milk tea?
God, I love boba.
Yeah. So sometimes like both.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to mix everything all together.
I'm like both too. I'm like coffee in the morning, tea in the evening.
Or I'll literally just have 3 drinks and feel super pretentious with a
boba
green
tea,
juice
coffee,
and a water.
Stay hydrated.
Yes.
Mascara or falsies?
I do both. Is that too much?
No, I do both too.
Great.
But if you had to pick one.
Falsies.
Thank you.
100%.
I was like waiting. I was like, it better be falsies.
Because the problem is I need the mascara to hold up the falsies upwards. Otherwise, my lids will droop it down. So it just gives it that extra like tug.
It's like support.
Yeah, exactly. My mascara is a lash assistant.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Okay, I love your TikToks. You're always on my For You page, but I have to ask, Reels or TikTok?
Oh, TikTok, 100%. Yeah. But it's not, no, actually, I might go into Reels if TikTok still becomes QVC. Like, PSA.
I'm so tired of TikTok Shop.
TikTok Shop, go away. Like, this is too, I see the same exact, and I'm like, look, if I keep getting the same advertisement for the same 2 dresses, I don't want to look like everyone else. I want to wear something different. And, and it's like the same basic outfit. So I'm like, I can understand if it's like basic incognito, but it's like obviously the same thing we all got at TikTok Shop. So I'm like, no, it's not worth it. I'd rather make something out of trash, you know? Like,
I love it. Okay, so you live in both cities, so Orlando or Miami?
Oh, that is hard. Okay, since it's not actually this or that, like, because I can't,
you can justify.
I can justify. I'll just have another 5-minute tangent. But, basically, as a young adult female, Miami is wonderful. But as a kid, I love Orlando.
Oh, I bet.
Like, even the Christmas stuff here, I'm like, it's not the same.
They just like wrap a palm tree. That's all they do.
Yeah, I have to pay money to watch Christmas lights and snow, or soap snow. Whereas here in Orlando, you can go into any random neighborhood and people go all out. You've got Disney Imagineers that do Christmas lights, Mickey Mouse, different things, and I think there's more of like that family-oriented Disney culture.
Yeah.
Like, actually, that's how my parents met. They both worked at the Chinese restaurant in Epcot.
What?
So,
I love that restaurant. It's really good.
so we're like a Disney family. Like, Disney actually opened this opportunity while I did Teens of Green in high school. I was this, it was called like the Disney Dreamer Endures Shining Star. And that actually made sustainability my life purpose. Again, this actually did become a tangent. I'm sorry.
No, but I love it.
But so they had the Disney Friends for Change, and I got to meet like Zendaya, Jane Goodall, Debbie Ryan, like these celebrities that I idolized.
Can we like trade lives?
Well, you have a cool life too, okay? I just can't handle all the flying for my sicknesses. But in terms of that opportunity and seeing that Friends for Change, and like their whole mission was to get the next generation to be passionate about sustainability and conservation, I was like, this was meant to be.
Yeah.
This was my sign that this is my life goal and my life purpose. But yeah, so I'm grateful for Disney for kind of validating what I did in the sustainability space. And then we had annual passes because I got that award. So we went there every 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Just to see fireworks after dinner. So I got really spoiled with those Disney things. So yeah, like I love Disney. I still basically only watch Disney Plus as a adult. So
I think the answer is Orlando.
Yeah,
Miami doesn't give you those opportunities.
Is in Orlando, but Miami's cool too as a young woman, and honestly, even as a model, like, this is where I'm saying, like, that pretty privilege is real, where like you get these cool experiences you never would have otherwise. Or like on a random Tuesday night, Sports Illustrated is doing like a female empowerment talk, and it's like 10 minutes from me. I'm like, oh, okay, easy peasy, let's go. So and that way it's cool, and all the different events that you get to do and
so
also
many.
see.
There's always something happening here.
So it's very fun, but now I've started to become more localized in Miami. So I'm embracing, like, I don't say the farm life, that's a little dramatic, but I'm like, I'm seeing plants, I'm seeing cool fruits, I'm seeing cool animals that I wouldn't have otherwise. So,
oh my god.
So yeah, Orlando will always be in my heart, but I am very grateful to be in Miami and see everything and travel a lot more. Yeah, sorry, that was a 5-minute tangent. All right.
Well, okay, so where can we follow you? On all your social medias. Definitely follow her on TikTok because she's awesome.
I'm not that great on TikTok. I thought I was cool.
You are.
No.
TikTok might just hate you because you're too environmental. You're not
shopping.
Bad. You're not shopping. That's why.
Yeah, that's true. I'm hating. Maybe it's me hating on TikTok. Not TikTok hating me. But TikTok and Instagram is both Miss Elizabeth Tran. And then my socials on Instagram, I also have like all my jobbies or passion projects.
Teens Go Green.
Yes, Teens Go Green, Digit-Eli. I actually have like, I made it a pageant meme page. One day I hope to make a pageant podcast called Lashes and Sashes. So I do love my lashes.
Ooh,
Yes. I mean, one day. I keep saying I will, but then it's so hard. I don't know how you do it. Because you do so much and you do this podcast.
You know, podcasting is actually really easy for me, and
really?
I have a lot of fun. Yeah, as long as the audio works. Because you're just talking to people. It's like, we're going to have this conversation anyway, so let's just record it,
but
I
think just getting started. Like, I love startup culture. I love the businesses, but it's almost like I'm nervous about what people are going to say. And
don't be.
I know. Because usually I'm like, oh, do it scared. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, come on, follow your own advice. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I think I have to have you back on because I feel like we didn't cover everything I wanted to talk about. So stay tuned.
I'd love to.
How about when you come back from your pageant, we can do like a recap episode.
Yes, that's true. Asian model icon. How'd it go? So we'll see. I'll keep you posted.
I can't wait.
Yes, and all my layover trips.
Yes.
My layover vacations.
Content. Yes. You better have some TikToks.
I hope so. I don't know if I will.
Yeah. Or just sleep.
Yeah, because I was like, I really didn't post that much about Thailand.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yes, I wasn't thinking about it, to be honest. I just wasn't.
You're too busy living.
You know what the thing is? I'm not an influencer. I pretend I am, but I don't actually get paid for any posts I make, so I only do it for fun. So I don't have this like, oh, this would be a great reel, this would be a great thing, whatever. Yeah, that's probably why.
You should try it. I would love to follow you.
Again,
I want your content.
I fear the rejection.
Oh, come on.
I know. I'm being a baby. I'm being a weenie.
You have to start somewhere.
I know. And I'm like, I'm already doing the model stuff. I'm already doing the web design stuff, whatever. It's like, that's kind of my like influencery space. And then my lashes and sashes my pageant memes are like my Finsta, you know, like it's just, it's for fun. If I do it for money, I don't know if
it's not going to be fun anymore.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, and I want to still enjoy it. Like Teens Go Green, I obviously don't do for money. It's nonprofit. But if I tried to profit off of it, I don't think I would appreciate the trash fashions.
It's just not fun.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I'm going to see you in like 3 weeks because you're going to come back on.
Yay!
Thank you so much for coming today.
You're very welcome.